Driving directions on your phone? Oh no! That's not fun! Navigate hands-free with Apple CarPlay.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Joe's Mini Bike Reunion Podcast. This is your podcast for Thursday. What's this, the 30th of September, 2021? Welcome. Thanks for hanging in there. We got off to a little bit of a late start, but it's California. Things happen late around here. We are back in studio, as you can see. We've got a great lineup tonight of not only highlighted by our special guest tonight, Vern, Potter Vernell, Home Alone. Those of you may know the name. He gets around. He's also referred to as the GOAT in our hobby of mini bikes, the greatest mini bike jockey out there. So we'll find out what's happening with Home Alone. Home Alone rolled down here with Fast Mike earlier tonight. They rolled out in the dark green El Camino. I'm not sure if they had 16s or 18s or maybe, what size wheels do you have on there? They went by so fast I couldn't tell. He said he's got some 21s on there. So he rolled up there. We caught up. I hadn't seen him in a bit, and we're going to have a chance to catch up with each other as well as have a chance to catch up with you. If you'd like to send in a comment or, a remark or a question, we'll be checking them periodically. And if we see one that we like, we'll see if we can get to it. Home Alone was autographing some Joe's Mini Bike Reunion decals, which would be cool to have in your shop. And, I'm looking forward to being back here face-to-face with everybody because, that's how we started the podcast. For those of you who are OG Joe's Mini Bike Reunion podcast viewers and listeners, we started in that little garage. And I had a bunch of guests that came on, a variety of them. Everybody from Jake Moe to Dave Miller to MDB, countless others. Dane Walton joined us one night. We had a good time. We've had... the Cordova brothers. In fact, happy birthday to my man, Eric Cordova. Eric, stop whining about your T-shirts now, and I will unban you from the page. Right? I love doing that shit. Now, we love the Cordova brothers. How you doing, Pops? Hope you're doing all right. Hey, none of this happens without our support from our friends at Pioneer. Pioneer Car Electronics have been supporters of events all over, including Joe's Mini Bike Reunion. And you can count on those guys to bring you the latest technology, including all those cool operations like Android, Apple CarPlay, and others. We tell you, don't get rid of your car, upgrade it with Pioneer Car Electronics. Check those guys out. A big shout out to Pioneer Car Electronics. They're the global leaders and proud sponsors of this podcast. We appreciate that. We also want to give a shout out to our friends at Studs Racing. In fact, I think they've got a new commercial that they put out. They're selling tires. I think you buy a tire, they give you a free tire or something like that. Ask them about your Joe's Mini Bike Reunion discount, and they'll charge you extra. We're in studio. E, thanks for setting this up. He's behind all the technical wizardry that you see happening here. We've got the little backdrop. We've got the monitor. We're gonna bring in guests tonight, and I've got some of the hottest young jockeys on the West Coast that are going to be joining us on tonight's show. We're going to kick it off with Antonio Portillo. He is a small block champion. I think he runs out of Fast Lane Racing. We're going to find out a little bit more about what's happening with Antonio. I wanted to have him on the podcast for a while now. And as things happen, a lot of the schedule is dictated by what Emmanuel is up to, and he's been busy. And we can see his work right here for ourselves now. He's been hustling, making things happen. So we've got a studio now. We're pretty close to LA. We can probably hear a home run at Dodger Stadium. And hopefully this is a home for us in the future, and we'll get back to what we used to do and have some fun in the studio. All right, so we have got Antonio that'll be joining us shortly, as well as Dylan, nicknamed Boog. All right, so I don't know Dylan, and if I'm mispronouncing your nickname, that's just how it is right now. You can clarify it when you come on. I'm looking forward to talking to you. This is a guy that I heard about from talking to my friends over at Big Daddy Motorsports. And Daryl was suggesting that we talk to him. He said, Joe, this guy truly has been on a bike at 80, he's been on a bike at 90, and he's been on a bike at 100. A lot of other guys talk about it. Daryl's always been smooth and honest and cool, so he's got my man Day up there, who also helps me out in a variety of ways, helped introduce me to different folks. That was pretty cool. He had hooked me up with Long Beach Sprocket, who talked a little bit about that mini bike ride where everybody rolled out up to Neptune's Net. And that was a cool deal. And I'd like to join you guys. I think you've got a ride that's coming up in, I don't know if it's Halloween, but I'm in Vegas for the SEMA show. And I'm there like right before, I'm there at Halloween. Otherwise, I would roll out with my Jake Mo drag bike, bring that fucker out again, see if I can not kill myself. I look forward to riding with you guys because I've not done that. So we've got Antonio on tap, we've got Dylan, and then we've got D-Red. And D-Red is, he's charged up, man. He was up first for the tune-up. We have everybody do like a little mic check beforehand. D-Red needs his own damn show. So we're looking forward to having him on. He'll join us as we all get together. But to all these guys that are upcoming on the show, thank you. I appreciate having you on. But before we do all that, and thanks for letting me take care of some business. Home Alone, Vern, thank you for being here with us tonight as we go back to the studio. How you been, man? I know that we had just a little bit of a chance to catch up, but how are things with you for those folks who haven't had a chance to talk to you recently? You good?
It feel real good. It feel real good to be back, enjoying you again, man. I'm glad the fellas out there doing their thing. I'm glad I'm all right. Everything been all right, we just trying to see there, Other than that, I'm coming for that belt.
So, Mike was talking a little bit. We were outside. The cool part of the studio, there's like a little place outside. You can hang out, do what you want to do. I know you're not drinking, or you're not drinking maybe as often as some of us do, or you
Correct.
may have. So that's good for you.
Correct.
So that's a little something that you're doing. You're not drinking as much. How come?
Nah, man, because my little health issues, and I like to stay focused out there, The drinking just ain't for somebody.
Yeah.
It ain't for everybody, I just see things a whole lot different. I can control the bike a whole lot different, and my medical conditions. But other than that, I recommend don't nobody need to have no alcohol.
Well, there you go.
Ain't
You're
no
not the first
alcohol,
person to recognize that. I think as you get older, Vern,
I feel a whole lot
something
better.
tells you, or maybe a close friend, or maybe a young person who all they do is talk the truth. They may say
Yeah.
something. I smell beer on your breath, Daddy.
You don't want that.
So look, John Jones recently had issues. He's battling a lot that he claims is alcohol related too. So it's not easy, especially when you're out there making some shit happen like you do. So you've in the eyes and in the minds and in the voices of the guys that I've known to really admire in this hobby. I've been hanging out for a little while, maybe a decade or so, right? You are what they call the GOAT when it comes to mini bike drag racing, and you've earned that. But for folks who may not know, what do you look back at as some of your highlights as a racer? Maybe you can just give us a little bit of a hint on what your first big win was. What was the race that made Vern Home Alone? What was the one that really got you on the map?
It was honestly about two good races. I had a nice good race back in the Big Alley. Back in the Big Alley off of 62nd and Central.
Who would remember that big alley? Who was hanging out at the time?
I'm hoping a lot of fellas remember, but of course, as far as Big Mike and as far as, of course, all the East Side races, Big Daryl, he know about it. It's a lot of old folks. I can't go down the list.
So but and that was what 2000.
Nah, that was about oh, that was twice. It was shit.
15 years ago?
Good about 12.
Okay.
12 years.
So a little bit
about
over a
good
decade.
12.
Okay, before I was even around, you were
Yeah,
in the big
it was
alley.
about a good 12, and then my second one is when I beat Ice House. Ice House Racing, you know, Big Daryl. And, Ronald.
Ronald.
Yeah. Other than that, shit.
Ronald's still talking shit about you beating him?
Somewhat.
Yep. So
Somewhat.
now Ronald
Yeah,
is. Why do I always think of him and Charles Mosley together?
Well, he don't, you know, he most likely, he most of just, he a good dude. He's straight, you know.
Yeah.
He be wanting me to jump on one of his bikes and this and that, but it's Eastside Racing on the map. you
Yeah.
know.
So it's all about
It's
that.
hard to do that, and I'm not finna switch up.
So racing the Big Alley, beating him. Then what?
No, I beat him. That was on Mansville. Was it on Anna? Yeah, it was on Anna.
In the background. See, here's what happens when you bring guests to the podcast. They become your studio audience, right? So now, Big Mike. For those of you who know Big Mike,
Just a little help. That's all.
dude, if he hasn't sold you a tire, first of all, I'll be amazed by now. And if he didn't, he's gonna. He's trying to sell manual tires out there, right? He's always together with Home Alone, and you guys have been together for a while. Was he back? Was he back with you the day when you were racing early on?
Yeah,
So how long
yeah.
you guys been together?
Yeah, we've been together for like a good decade.
All right. So you're racing on Big Anna. Now you're in Mansville. What other big wins did you have? What do you remember the most?
Just winning, period. You know, being a good jockey. You know, just winning, period. And it's, you know, I like winning. You know, I'm not gonna say I'm a loser and I hate to lose. Everybody, you know, everybody loses, but you lose, you just fall and get back up. You know, and try it again.
So who were some of the toughest guys that you raced against that you remember? Who were the guys?
His name was Juan. Then my big boy, Marcel. You know.
What made those guys tough? Was it just was it their bike? Was it their style?
It's how you ride. It's how you ride, and it was the bike. You know, it just ain't the bike. You know, you can make the bike do anything. It's just on how you ride. You know what I mean? So I had a few good ones. One, Marcel, Dylan. He gave me a few good runs. You know.
Where did you race Dylan?
This was back on what, at Anna. We raced on Anna. Then I believe I raced D-Red on Anna also.
So you're racing all these young guns that are coming on.
Yeah.
And what's going on? Are you getting some? Are they getting some? Back and forth?
It's just going up and down, and then what's his name?
Let's stay on D-Red and Dylan for a second. What is it about Dylan and D-Red that
they got heart. They got heart. They're not scared to jump on the bike. They're not scared to fall and get back up, you know. And I like that about that. You know, I like the potential in them that they be safe. Sometimes D-Red could be an A, you know, not putting on the helmet.
I'll talk to him about that.
I want safety first. Safety first.
So before we get on to Big Brother, talking about helmets and all that, like I show up on the Grom rides. These guys are in flip flops and shorts, man.
Right.
And barely wearing a helmet. I show up with my D&E's jacket and my damn kneecaps and my shin guards and my boots and my gloves. Probably because it's an age thing. I do remember and loving it when you could ride like a motorcycle with no helmet in certain states. Those were things that early on you thought were cool and gave you freedom. As I look back at it now, some of the dumbest shit I've done is get on these bikes. I've watched people just get on a small mini bike, and all of a sudden it just takes them 10 feet in a hurry.
Yeah.
It fucks them up quick.
Yeah.
And not having a helmet on, and you know, you've known the tragedy of awkward accidents. I mean, you took one of the most lethal blows that anyone has ever taken and survived. Those memories still hover around? I mean,
Yeah. It's constantly. It's not going nowhere no time soon. You know, it's a constant repeat. Every time I come out there, I'm expecting to have a good time. But when these new guys out here is not doing the right thing, doing things, going opposite ways and doing donuts, you know, we can't have no fun. It's just an accident waiting to happen. You know, it brings back a lot of flashbacks. Even when I jump on the bike. When I jump on the bike, I just be hoping that don't nobody pull out and, you know, make the street clear.
Sure.
And hopefully nothing happens. Because I just hate to see another accident happen. It happens and it happens and happens. But that's only because don't nobody be paying attention and they not doing the right thing.
Well, it is, I think, a result of the atmosphere too. A lot of my guys,
A lot of new guys. It's a lot of new guys.
there's
That's all.
and it's more popular. It's much more popular. I hang out with the guys and give a shout out to all my guys at Honda Grom Lifestyle, Bing, all the guys that I hang out with, Ruben, Ernesto, Digger. I love going out with these guys, and you know, we have a group of older folks that we're just happy to be out. It's our one night of a week to get out. We hang out with our boys. We ride a little bit. We stop and have a hamburger somewhere. We catch a little bit of a buzz. We zip all around. But we also have a group of younger dudes that roll with us that stunt, and they know how to stunt. And, you know, somewhere in the mix of just trying to have a cool ride and letting guys do their own thing, sometimes it's all right. Sometimes people get out of hand. It's like that everywhere. Anna Street's electric. A lot of my Honda Grom guys have been going there on Sunday just to check it out. You know, even the mini moto dudes appreciate what's happening with these rigid bike mini bikes that we all know and love. They're going fast. So guys are checking it out, and because it's like it's a place to go, whether you're a rider or not, it's getting bigger.
Yeah, it's getting real big.
And even the people that come have mini bikes, and they're kind of riding them around. And I remember being with Evil Ed down there one time, and just leaving the parking lot, we had 2 or 3 bikes just flying by us, and young kids, and no helmet. And it's like I left there having a good time, and it was great to see everybody, because we go down there and we love most of the folks that we see down there, because many of them come to Joe's Mini Bike Reunion. So when I go down there, I like it, but I also leave there similar to you, which is like, man, I sure hope nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
And I'm not talking about the cops. I'm just talking about everybody
ain't nothing
else.
wrong with having fun. Ain't nothing wrong with having fun. It's just being safe about it. That's all. You know, just being safe about it. You know, ain't nothing wrong with having fun.
So, you know, that's a good spirit, and I think maybe that would put a little cherry on top of this reputation you have as being one of the best racers ever that's been out there on a mini bike, and you're concerned about the safety in that voice. Take it to heed, folks, if you're out there.
All I want, safety, man. You go in the right direction, come down in the right direction. Don't go in the opposite direction, and you know, it's
Stay
just
one
going,
lane.
You know,
And wear a helmet, right? You know,
just wear a helmet.
Yeah.
You know, wear a helmet. Don't let no kids get in the way. Just wear a helmet.
So because we're you know, we're on a little bit of a track with the popularity with drag racing. There's also a lot of movies out now that are gaining popularity. You know, you can tell because you see the companies like Mountain Dew and soda companies and candy companies getting behind it. But the movies where guys are out there essentially, you know, anything from 2-wheel to dirt bikes to quads, full-size motorcycles, out there riding in cities like Detroit and Chicago and Philadelphia and New York and Florida. Some call it mobbing, some call it whatever they call it. I think that's also bringing mini bikes and smaller style mini motos. The popularity is coming out there now. So you think we're at a place now with this mini bike hobby where we're just finally starting to get that national notoriety? Because it's been like a small cult for a long time. Now everybody knows about mini bikes, you know?
Yeah. It's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. It's just, where can we ride safety? Where can we ride safe? Where can they open up at? Where can they open something for us to just ride and just go down the track, turn back around?
So options now are, and if we're in Southern California, and as a result, you know, it's different in different states. I know that folks in Michigan have to do what we do to a large degree, ride on the streets. You know, I remember being out there. You know, these aren't licensed bikes. There's no serial number on there. There's no friggin' turn signals. There's no headlights. So you know why they're not street legal. But being able to go to Verona, a small track towards San Diego, but Irwindale would be just perfect. It's not operated as often as Pomona.
It's a lot closer.
It's a lot closer. And what I've understood, and I've talked to Doug out there. Doug's the PR guy, and we've done business with them. In fact, with Roadkill, we used to kick off. In fact, I want to give a shout out. Although it's not an official Roadkill event, David Freiberger, a good friend of ours, is going to be a part of an event. It's not a Motor Trend event. It's called the Duct Tape Drags. It's at Tucson. It's this Saturday, this Sunday. I went out there when it was the Roadkill Zip Tie Drags, and I was actually the host there for a while. It was pretty cool. D. Rivas used to come out there and give a shout out to my man D if you're listening. D's building his Ram Charger. So he's going all in with his 2-wheel drive Ram Charger. I think he's got a 318 with a 727. We're trying to get him a gear vendor overdrive at a good deal. But D and I went out there, and it was a good time. They have the Hoopty Challenge. They've got, you can meet Dave Freiberger. You can meet Mike Finnegan. You can meet some of the guys from Motor Trend TV. I think the dudes behind those donk cars as well are out there. So check them out if you want to. You can still go there. It's not until Saturday and Sunday. It's at the Tucson Dragway in Tucson, Arizona. It's called the Duck Tape Drags. See David Freiberger and Finnegan, all those guys out there. And they're mini bike friendly. The track and the owners there, Jim Hughes and Matt DeYoung, do a great job. There's camping and there's showers. And there's a lot of places. There's 2 tiki bars. I had a good time there one night, someone told me. All right, so, hey, we're back here. It's Joe's Mini Bike Reunion Podcast. We're back in the studio. To come, Anthony Portillo. I asked him if it's Anthony or Antonio. I feel bad because I haven't talked to any of these guys yet, so I'm sure that he'll set me straight. We've got Dylan Boog. See, and I don't even know the rest of that, what his last name is, or if I'm even supposed to say it. And then we've got D. Red. So we'll find out what's happening with all these guys shortly. Here's what it says when you ask for the definition of a jockey, and I'll read this to you. The definition of a jockey is a person who rides or drives a horse, especially as a professional in a race. It also says it's a person who operates or works with a specified vehicle, device, object, or material. I think they meant mini bike. A verb, if you look at jockey as a verb, it's to maneuver or manipulate. To change the position by a series of movements, to jockey a mini bike in position, right? Mm-hmm. It's also to deal shrewdly or fraudulently with.
Mm-hmm. Got to work with it.
We got all that, don't we?
You got to work with it.
You got a little bit of all that?
I got it.
What's made you earn the reputation, not just these wins that you've talked about and some of these talented competitors that you've gone up against, but what is it that's made you different than all these other jockeys home alone?
It's not so much of me being different. It's me, honestly, me just riding bikes for so long. I'm 31 years old. I've been riding mini bikes since I was 10. And I got my first actual mini bike when I was 12.
What was it?
You know, it was a 6.5.
Do you remember what frame it was?
Actually,
homemade?
It was a homemade.
Maybe a Joe's or something. There was no GTS. There was no Temecula Bob.
Joe's.
Yeah.
You know, it's just by me by me riding mini bikes for so long. You know, in different areas and getting to know different people on a mini bike. You know, just by the years and me falling and me being okay and me falling again, me being okay.
Getting back up.
You know, then I started racing because I like racing. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna make the soup up my mini bike, make my mini bike go faster. Then made my mini bike go faster, and that's just made me just, you know what? I want to go faster now. I want to go faster. I want to go faster. Boom! I fall, get back up. Just, you know, it's just in me. It's just in my blood. And as far as me being, I'm not gonna say famous. I'm not gonna say nothing like that. I'm just gonna say popular. As far as when it comes to certain mini bikes and certain people, I give wisdom. I give wisdom on, look, wear a helmet. Don't do this on the bike. Look, if you about to leave hard, lean forward. You know, just certain little wisdom, you know, to certain people. Other than that, I guess that's why I gained my, you know, my respect and, I just basically my respect.
How cool and how humble of a guy, because there's a lot there. You've never been one, and I've known you for a bit now too, that's ever been, look at me, you've never called me up to be on this podcast. You've never once wondered who was getting in the Hall of Fame and why. You've just been a natural part of all of the things that I've wanted to accomplish when we started Joe's Mini Bike Reunion, the show. The podcast was just like a talking piece for us to promote the show. And as you know, unfortunately, we don't have the show this year because of and a lot of stuff. It just wasn't meant to be. So
I'm not trying to be number one out there. I'm just trying to be a good racer. It's what I like to do. It's in my blood. You know, if you want some, come get some the right way. the right way.
What is it? What is the right way?
Meaning, okay, the pounds. It could be the weight difference. If somebody weigh more than you, and he out there, okay, if he out there by certain many bikes, and you cross lanes, yeah, okay, it could be a win, it could be a lose because you out so many bikes. You know, if you far out, and you jump lanes, and that man can't do nothing, like if he already lagging back, that's automatically win on him. You know, if you move, you lose. A chase is a race. There is certain rules out there.
What are the ones that? I remember pool. I don't know if anybody fucking plays pool anymore because it means you have to be out with people. Everybody's at home just doing this shit now, right? No one goes out and plays pool or bowling or any of that shit. But when you when I lost my train of thought. I guess what you're getting at in pool, you know, it's like if your ball's up against the rail, and like you don't get to move it.
Right.
Like if you try to hit the ball and you top it, well, it's a scratch.
It's a scratch.
And like there's certain rules that when you go out to a bar, not everybody's playing by the same rules because it's just a game of pool, right?
Right.
But if you don't have a little bit of structure, right? You don't have a little bit of what goes. Like I get your point. If I'm racing you and I'm way the hell ahead of you, like I'm waiting for you. I'm looking at my watch waiting for you, and that's happened. I've been on both ends of that shit. You know, a win's a win. Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you think some of the guys that are out there racing each weekend still have some confusion about, still let shit pass that shouldn't be? Are there certain things or certain inherent rules that the jockeys nowadays either are not complying with or disregard that you notice?
Some.
What's like one or two of the ones that like really, if you had your way, everybody would follow those rules when they're racing?
I would like, okay, even if it's a weight difference, then if it's a weight difference and a guy chooses to ride his own bike at his own weight, right? Then it's like
then that's it.
That should be a race.
He can't go bitching afterwards that you were lighter.
Okay. That should be a race.
All right.
You know, but now if he chooses to put somebody else on the bike, you know, weight to weight, it's okay, no problem.
Sure.
You know, but it's a lot of little different rules.
So let me try to help out here. Let me, if I can. Daryl from BDMS. First of all, thank you, Daryl, for not only hooking me up with Dylan, but thank you for some of the recent posts that you put on your page. It's _BDMS_ for those of you who don't know, now you do, on Instagram. Ultralight, if we take a look at weight classes, just so everybody's out there, you know, I remember a lot in boxing, but now it's changed because with racing mini bikes, you've got an ultralight class that's like 139 pounds and less. So I'd be curious about some of our guests that are coming on, what division or what class they think they're in. So ultralight is 139 or less. So if you're 120 pounds, you're ultralight, right? The lightweight class is 140 pounds up to 189. So shit, that would be me. I'm 178, 180, depending on how many pizzas Linda gives me. So I'd be lightweight. Middleweight is 190 to 249. So that'd be like Evo Ed. Evo Ed's got about 190 on him. I'd definitely be Mini Bike Paul. Shit, Mini Bike Paul may be heavyweight because that's 250 to 300 pounds. Shit, that would be the size of MDB's ego. And then you got super heavyweight, 300 pounds. So there's a lot of weight classes. So you're saying, hey, look, man, if you roll up and you're a middleweight and Home Alone's out there watching the sun go down and middleweight rolls up and he wants to race you heads up, no bitching afterwards if he loses.
No bitch.
He wants to put a younger guy on there. He wants to put Boog on there, and Boog's a little bit lighter. You're fine with that too. It's not like you're racing the guy. You're racing. We're racing the bikes, aren't we? To a degree, or are we racing the jockeys? What is it? Who's racing who?
Bikes.
We racing bikes.
Racing these bikes. That's what we racing. You know.
Okay, so if we're racing the bikes, then all these bikes can be pretty damn close to each other. A lot of the same engine guys, how do the same tuning. I mean, it's not like you can do 1,000 things to these bikes. Then it does make a difference. The jockey does make the difference.
It does. It does. But I was just giving an example. If the man chooses to ride his own bike, then he chooses to ride his own bike, even if he's a little bit, you know, heavier.
Well, he's heavier
or
than
lighter.
Yeah. Okay. So look.
So then that's up to the other man to find him a jockey.
And that's probably how you gained a lot of notoriety too. When people are hearing about this kid who's loving mini bikes, and instead of out there doing God knows what, at 16 he's hanging out building mini bikes, and still getting back on when he's getting thrown off, still getting back on, he's getting thrown off, still getting back on. You probably got solicited by a lot of guys wanting you to ride their bikes. Wasn't that pretty much the way it went down?
Yep.
And
exactly.
how involved were you?
I learned my lesson for, you know, future references. Just don't jump on nobody else's bike.
Why?
Don't jump on people's bike, because you got to get to know another person's bike. You didn't build it, you didn't watch the person build it. You know, it's just, hey man, can you test my bike out for me? No, that's not how it works. Front tire could fly off. You never know. I don't just jump on anybody's bike. You know.
And there was a time where you would?
Yep. Oh yeah, most definitely.
And too many tires flew off, and too many brakes stuck, right?
But it's just the bike would be too different as far as it'll get wobbly, or it's just too different. Everybody build their bikes differently, you know. So, but you future references, just don't jump on nobody else's bike, because you never know how that bike is gonna react. No matter how much of a jockey you are, you know. You just don't know how that bike is going to react.
That makes perfect sense. So with that said, how much of a part were you with those bikes that were winning all those races? Were you down and dirty with the frame? Were you there in the face with the guys that were building the motors? Were you?
Yeah, always. Yep, every bike. You know, I know every bike that I done jumped on, you know, throughout the years. It's just sometimes within myself, if you hitting certain little bump speed, little whatever, you know, you would go into a high speed wobble, then you will panic and you don't know what to do.
That's
first thing
hit the
you
throttle,
gonna do
right?
is first thing you gonna do when you panic is you gonna hit the brakes. Then that's gonna slide you right into a wobble. Don't do that. You hit that throttle, and you up out of there. It's gonna raise up that front end. It's gonna lighten up the front end to where you will have more control with your arms, to where you can straighten up and get on.
So listen up, folks. For those of you wondering what to do on that high-speed wobbles, because that's what scares the shit out of most folks. You know, everybody goes through that at one time or the other. And twisting that throttle when your body's telling you to hit that brake.
Don't hit that brake. Whatever you do, don't hit that brake.
So there's another little tidbit of wisdom. Vern, thanks. Hey, give us a little bit of insight, because I want to get to Antonio as we finish up here with getting up close with Home Alone. It's been a minute since he's been with us. I look back at the podcast. It's been well over a couple years. Always been one of the more popular guys at the event. Member of one of the initial Joe's Mini Bike Reunion inductees. People love seeing you out there. There's a nice photo that Emmanuel's been running of you on the drag strip, and then you sitting on a drag bike at Joe's Mini Bike Reunion. Had a smile so big. Those are the impressions. What do you think of when you see yourself? Like, what do you remember from that shot?
I'm telling you, I just love it, man. It's nothing better than that. You know what I mean? That's my passion.
How'd you do on that race? You remember?
I think I hit the record. I think that was the first time I hit the track record. It was like 80. It was like.
Well,
yeah, that was actually, you know what? For the people out there, that was Big Mike on the other side, and that's me right here in the red helmet. And how fast that was, I don't know. It was in the 80s though. Well, it was in the 80s.
So, hey, back then, what the fuck were you thinking? You got on like a black members jacket, members only jacket, with some black sneakers that like some old white guy would be wearing. What's going on? You got a dress shirt on, hanging out the back there?
You know what?
Damn, I gotta work with you, Vern.
That's back when I was using.
What you do? Get out of work?
I was just wearing my big clothes back then. You know.
I see you got an office job. It looks like you were working an office job, and you just put that black jacket on there. All right, guys. So here's what we're gonna do. I got to ask you. Mike needs his own show. I'd say.
It's okay.
So check this out. So now what? Some of these guys are going to see you on the podcast now. They're going to hear me calling you the GOAT. They want to get a piece of that. Are you still up for races now?
Man,
you
man, I'm ready. I'm ready right now.
So Eastside Racing, what's Eastside Racing up to right now?
I'm ready right now. Hey, bring it. You gonna get it.
How do they get a hold of you if they want to meet you? And
They know my Instagram. They know my Facebook. They know Mike. They know everybody.
If they don't,
we on the map.
All right,
and we ain't getting off the map.
So check them out, Eastside Racing. You heard it.
We on the map. We ain't getting off. You know, he just gotta. I'm gonna say this: if I was there that night when D Red won that race, it would have. If I was there, it would have been over with. He won by one fluke. All right.
What was the fluke?
The fluke was my boy was way out, and it was a weight difference, and he crossed over, but it was way out. My man should have still won that money. But hey, they don't like Eastside Racing winning, you know. But I'm coming. My bike is ready.
You've heard it here, folks.
My bike is ready. Would you name it? Small block, big block, medium block. I'm ready.
He's ready. Fast Mike's out here too. Thanks for everybody who's been listening in. We're gonna move on into our first young gun, and I use that expression in a good way. At SEMA, we have this portion of the Battle of the Builders competition. Check it out online. It's called SEMA Battle of the Builders. There's a TV show on it and everything. But we have an element. It's called the SEMA Young Guns, and it's guys 27 and younger that built their own cars. We're looking for future builders, right? And we don't expect everybody, especially at 27, to have all the skills to build a complete car, right? Particularly things like welding and body work. But doing your own engine and installing your own transmission and the brakes and the interior and doing your own body work and prep. If you do like 60, 70% of it, that's kind of what we're looking for. I'm seeing a lot of jockeys, and I'm looking forward to talking to these guys to find out how many of these guys are really building their bikes and riding them, because I think that's a unique talent. It's one thing to have the balls of steel to be able to get on a bike going that fast, that small, on these streets that I'm looking at where there's potholes larger than, I don't know, a bowling ball, right? So there's a lot that goes into that mentally, physically. It's like the tough guy in in class. That's the jockey. He's the quarterback. He's the shortstop. He's that guy. He wants to win. He wants to ride. He wants the ball. But building that bike, having those brains to not only be the star player, but know how to play the game or know how to get that bike set up. Wondering how that's going with a lot of these young racers, how much of a part of building the bike that they're riding they're a part of. So we'll find out a little bit more about that. I want to give a few shout outs because I often forget to do this and it's very important to me. I want to recognize, obviously, Linda, thanks for putting up with us. We got a Yankee win tonight. Go Yankees. Give a big shout out to Nicole and Dave. They just got into their new place, so good for them. You guys know Nicole and Dave from working the mini bike show. Gail and Jerry as well, wishing Gail the best. My buddy Ira, Ian Cordova. We talked about Eric. Eric's 45 years old today, so happy birthday, Eric. Corey, Big Bree, and DJ. BDMS, we talked about Daryl, Richard White, Eric Shingles from Studs Racing, and all the guys who work out there. We appreciate all you do. My buddy Paul Giotto. Paul, everybody knows Paul, right? Paul comes to all the mini bike shows. Shit, he's probably at Anna Street. This guy is amazing. I'm working at the Sandsport Super Show in Ontario, and I'm running around going nuts. Someone says, hey, Joe, Paul's here in the show office. So, I said to myself, well, Paul, it's like, well, fuck, I only know like a handful of Pauls, but I think this got to be like mini bike Paul, because I know he's into all this stuff. And I roll out to our office, and Paul Giotto is out there. Vern, he's got two sub sandwiches, two Italian sub sandwiches, a menu from a restaurant, a $50 bill, some cold drinks. This guy's brought me lunch and dinner. No one does shit like that.
Right.
And he doesn't ask for anything. And I stood there holding these sandwiches, and I opened up this. I thought he was giving me like a menu. It's like, what else am I going to eat? And there's money in there. It's like, Paul, what are you doing? Bringing me money and soda and subs. Just amazing.
Showing love.
And I can't thank you enough, Paul. It's little things like that. I brought. Well, you know what happens. I ate half the sandwich. I gave the other one to the DJ, and Linda got the $50.
Showing love.
So she appreciates that. Boom Boom appreciates that. Jake Moe. I got a text from Jake, and I've been trying to get as many jockeys as I could on the show, and I'll continue to get them on here. And one guy particularly who runs up in AV Zoom, as well as Lil Zoom. I've been trying to get those guys to come on the show. And then, in fact, the show I was going to have Antonio on, it was delayed because Zoom had his house flooded. So he got over that. I was on a deal with Arleo. Arleo posts his Instagram pages, and give a shout out to all those guys up there at AV, the AV Mini Bike Racing group up there, Jake and Arleo and Charlie. Those guys are cool guys. I like seeing them all the time. But I was on there with Zoom. I said, "Hey, Zoom," I said, no excuses now. You got to be on the podcast. I got some of the hottest racers on there, and he hit me again. It's like, "No, Joe, I'll hit you on the next one." So you're on the back of the bus, Zoom. We're gonna get you on like August of next year.
Right.
But now we'll work you in. And a shout out to Jake. Jake's finishing up a bike for me. I can't wait to get my hands on. So I know he's busy doing his own things. Well, the bike is a Bonanza knockoff. It was sold through a company called Go Kart USA, who used to be a sponsor of the mini bike show, but then COVID came and they shut down. And it had certain cues of a Bonanza that were really nice. I think Evil Ed got one as well. And Jake saw some things that he could do. And I said, take it. I had a Tillotson motor that I let him take that away too. I don't know if it made it or not. I don't ask any questions. I've loved every bike he's made, and I have one that he's built for me that's a Temecula Bob long frame. It's a drag bike.
Right.
And Big Belly built the motor. It's like an 18 horsepower Predator. It ran strong. One day out at the AV, I was going faster than I should have, and I'm happy with it, but it needs to go somewhere else because I'm gonna go flying off it. So if somebody's looking for a nice bike, but what I'm getting at is that there's a lot of things that when you get the opportunity to get one, which is a Jake Moe bike, do it, everybody. Also want to give a couple shout outs to, let's see, Long Beach Sprocket. We mentioned him. He was on the podcast earlier. We appreciate that. Ronnie Gaines, as well as Nesto and Bing and Myron Bailey out of Detroit. Okay, let's bring on one of, when I reached out to find out who some of the hotter racers were, one guy kept popping up. Antonio not only was going to be on our show a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, but a couple of things happened, and he hung in there with me, and I appreciate it. But let's see if we can bring him on here. Antonio Portillo, welcome to the podcast, and thanks for holding on, brother. How are you, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Can we plug up his volume a little bit? Is there anything we can do to get his voice up a little bit? Hey, Antonio, how are you, brother?
I'm doing fine. And yourself?
A pleasure to finally meet you, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Antonio, you've made a name for yourself running down recently the small block tournaments. You come with good credentials. How long have you been into mini bikes? Has it been one of those things like everybody else where it's something that you picked up on when you were really young?
Nah, I've been a mini bike since the get-go, man. Like, it's been all my life.
How old are you when you first got into it, man?
I was like 13.
And
I broke my hand and my leg.
What kind of bike was it that you started off with?
It was a 5.5 Honda, one of the slowest bikes.
Do you remember what frame you had?
It was
Was it a homemade one? Because a lot of guys had some different gobbled up frames back in the day, right?
It was like kind of like a taco, but it was a fake taco, you know. But I had
a little scrub brake on it.
Yeah, I had a scrub brake.
So that's how you started off. And were you a builder or were you just interested in?
Nah, I was just a rider. I was riding, you know. I was riding mini bikes up and down on my block until there were some other dudes from another hood. They came and raced me, and I passed a stop sign, and a Astro truck stopped right in front of me, and I hit it. Boom.
That's not gonna work.
I hit the whole Astro truck, and I broke my hand and my leg at the same time.
So how did that go when you went home and told your mom what happened?
My mom picked me up from there. She smacked the shit out of me when I broke my hand and my leg.
Did you at least have a helmet on, or you like the rest of us crazy with no helmet?
Nah, I didn't know. I don't know about that. You know, I didn't have no helmet, no nothing. Thank God I didn't got hurt, you know, but I didn't have no helmet.
So you
I didn't
dodged
even
the
know
bullet.
what. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So you learned that lesson. How long did it take you for you to actually get back into it again? Was that something where it made you pause and take a while, or did you jump right back into it?
nah, I didn't jump. It it took me like probably like yeah, like 7, almost 8 months, you know, of recovery because I broke my wrist and my leg. So I've been in the hospital for a whole month, you know. I came back out of the hospital all hurt, you know, but it was a lesson, you know, that I learned. And after that, I was good, you know. I got into it again on mini bikes,
So
and I
how
liked it.
how how were you able to jump back on, knowing that you just got pretty beat up, man? Right? I mean,
Yeah,
near death
I
experience,
just
a car accident, right?
I just got a big heart, homie. You know, I I got I don't know. I just love this. I like the adrenaline. I like everything. You know, I like to hop on the bike. I like, you know, to be fast.
So was it a
So
notably better bike? Was your second bike much better than your first bike? Did you learn a little bit from what you had at first?
yeah, yeah.
Would you get a
But
bigger motor?
around that age, I was slow. I got into this game right now like 4 years. I started going fast with fast lane and BDMS, you know. So I, you know what I'm saying? These I got introduced to these guys, so you know, I stopped being fast.
So while you were into mini bikes, was that something that it was just kind of you, or were a lot of your friends into it too? I mean, a guy like you probably got a lot of friends out there. How many of them are still in the mini bike game, and versus how many guys are out there doing other things? You know?
Man, I got friends that live in the same neighborhood right now to this day. Shout out to Jerry and Johnny. That's my niggas, you know. Oh my bad, that's my boys. Um, you know, I grew up with them since I was kids. They know everything about me. We grew up since we were kids as juvenile hall, you know.
Yeah, man.
So
But there's always look. There's a good soul inside all the folks that may have gone through those juvenile delinquent halls. You know, that was just the way they described special kids, and you know that's
we were
what we
just
were.
knuckleheads. We were knuckleheads growing up, you know. And I seen
So,
that. I was like, I need to hop on it.
so were as a young kid, did you know about the mini bike scene growing up? Like, were there the older boys or guys that were in the
No, there were
neighborhood?
some. There was there were some guys that were that had mini bikes on that neighborhood, and I was like, "Dang, I need to get one of those. You know, I need to ride one of those." So yeah, man, I got introduced by them, and I started riding mini bikes ever since. I I liked it, you know.
Yeah. So on that track. So now you got into it, you liked it, you survived an accident. All these things seem to be common with a lot of the guys that are racing. When did it really get serious for you where you decided it was more than just riding around with your friends? When did it get into like serious racing on the streets when you hooked up with the fast lane guys? Tell us a little bit about that.
I think it was 2016 or 17, around there.
So
I
what
I
happened?
I was everything started because some guy introduced me to Daryl that he was jading carburetors. So I went to his house, to his garage, and that's when I met Fastlane. They were right there with him. So and all their bikes were fly. You know, they nice bikes, fast bikes. I didn't know about that time about being fast until I got introduced to Daryl.
Yeah, so that's another common thread with a lot of guys who go fast is that connection with Daryl Smith. What can you say about Daryl and the experiences that you've had with him over the years?
Man, well, all I do is listen, man. I listen what he hears, like what he say to me. You know, I listen, and it's not easy. I tell you that it's not easy, but I listen what he says, and I learn from that. You know,
Yeah, good for you.
so
And how good it is for us to have him around. He's a two-stroke wizard for a while. He doesn't like to touch those too much now. I was trying to bring a little two-stroke project that I had to him, but I watch what he does. I've seen some of the guys that hang out with. I mentioned Day Day. He's one of my favorites over there. I'm hoping that both Daryl and Day Day join me at SEMA so they can check out some of the cool hot rods out there. I know Day Day's into filming and video, and it would be so nice for him to get a little experience out there. So they're invited out there. And you know, there may be a time sometimes too where Antonio, maybe we'll have the guys of you and Home Alone out there with some of our mini bikes showing the hot rod world. Uh, you know, there's a little bit of a a connection with mini bikes where it sparks people's interest in anything that goes fast. Are you into cars as well, or is it just mini bikes for you? Are you a car guy too?
I'm a car guy, but I like to stick to mini bikes. You know, cars is yeah, it's more expensive. You know,
That's for sure.
you
Yeah, Home
know.
Alone was rolling up in his El Camino with his 22s, and I'm a car guy too. I think we all start with mini
I
bikes.
got an El Camino too.
See? Hey, what do you know about this guy, Home Alone? You've heard his story. You've heard people call him the greatest of all time. What do you know about Home Alone?
Well, I heard about him a long. Well, still heard about him. He's still around. You know, I respect for him what he done to the community mini bikes. You know, he's been around. I like him. You know, he's cool. You know, one day
Uh,
we could meet up one day.
you heard some of the things he was talking about with regard to some of these unspoken rules and some of the issues about maybe safety or, for that matter, the lack of it. Uh, any of those things ring true on your end? What was your reaction to some of the things that Home Alone had to say about that?
Man, all my respect to him, man, because that's real what he's saying, man. Like, you know, I'm right behind him, you know. So that's true what he's saying. Everybody got to hear what he said too, you know, because I be out there too telling people wear helmets, wear jackets. You know, as you can see, Dylan got a jacket right there. You know, we'll be geared up from head to toe.
Good for
You
you. I
know,
was talking about that too, man. And believe me, when guys hear that from the guys who are really riding fast, and it's important, ring true, guys. So Dylan was another guy that came to us from Daryl, and comes with a lot of accolades. Let's see if we can get him to join us over there.
yeah, Dylan right here.
Yeah, man. How you doing, Dylan? Nice to meet you
Hi,
finally
how you
too.
doing?
I'm doing
I'm
great. How about
good.
you?
I'm finding yourself.
Great. So before I butcher the nickname, uh, is it Boog?
Yes, bud.
Great. Boog, welcome to the podcast. You're sitting next to Antonio there. How long you guys known each other?
I probably know him probably at least 2, 3 years now.
Who's faster?
It's a team effort. It's team effort.
Oh, that's a great answer.
Team effort.
That's a great. That's a good answer. You know what? It really is, because you let them know what works and what don't. You tell him, don't you? You don't
Yeah.
care if he's a little bit faster if you tell him, do you?
Team effort, my ass.
Somebody jumped on there. You don't mind sharing a few secrets with your friends, then, right? It's all for the group. It's all for the fast lane team, right?
Yes.
And Dylan, what would you say you bring to the party then? Is it just your jockey skills, or do you like to think of yourself as also an engine guy or a tuning guy?
I I I think I'm a all-in-one guy. Like, I'm not just a jockey. Like, I own my own bike at a point in time. Like, that's why Daryl, contacted you, because I'm special. Like, I can get on anybody's bike and I can tell you what's exactly wrong with your bike. Like, if your bike not running right, I can tell you off the back. Oh, you might have a gasket problem, or your heads might be off a little bit. Just the way it sounds, just the way I'm riding it, just how I can feel the 360 feet from the starting line to, you through the 8th mile, you can feel if a bike is really, you feel me, got the horsepower or not. And, that's just what I bring to the table. I bring everything.
Look, a lot of people would take that as bravado and having an attitude. That's pure. You're hearing from this guy. He's telling you how it is, and I could just see it talking to you. That's great that not only you know that and you have that capability. That was actually something, Vern, that you and I talked about years ago, how you had that innate ability to be able to get on a bike and be able to share what's going on with that bike. So not only is it safer, but it's quicker.
Yeah.
So you came with the credentials, Dylan, of truly being on a bike that went 70, truly being on a bike that went 80, truly being on a bike that went 90, and now truly being on a bike that went 100. No bullshit, coming from the truth. No denying that, huh? Tell us a little bit about the first time that you were on a 70-mile-an-hour bike, and as you graduated up to 100. Can you share a little bit of that with us?
Yes. It started off really like um with Fastlane. We started off small on 92nd and Broadway in the alley. So we all riding together, at least 20, 30 people. We just all going to the races, to mini bike races, to actually get the feel of the mini bike races, so we can see how fast people are. What because at first it was really just not a game to us, but more so like we didn't take it serious. So we just coming out there, we just going out there just to ride. We're not going out there like to race, to really bet no money. We just going out there to have fun. So once we really started to go out there, and I got to see Home Alone, I got to see other people like other big jockeys, other people that be like, all right, yeah, well, I want to go as fast as him. Like I want to go as fast as him, or you want to be as fast as the next person. That's just all how it really starts. You just want to be as fast as this person. Or even if you could be faster. That's the whole name of the game. Me and Home Alone, we see each other all the time. We always, you feel me? We give each other pointers, or we always say what up to each other. It's just like, we don't never have no conflict. It's just, once we racing each other, we racing each other. We know it's serious. We have a sense of, seriousness and a sense of playing this. That's just all what it is.
Yeah, that's a really good look at it, because I was watching Home Alone's reaction while you were talking, and his head was going up and down there. So you stick your toe in there, and then you maybe make some attainable goals. Hey, I want to go that fast. Maybe you check out the course. You realize, hey, look, man, we're racing around here where they could use a few of these holes filled up. Maybe some places. So I love the fact that you just kind of dipped your toe in there at first. When did it get really serious though, where you realize, okay, now it's game on?
Uh, man, I would say the first time that I actually got my motor built by Daryl, that's when I knew it was game on. It was I had, like I said, I had 170 for probably like a year. And I'm just like, everybody just like, they upgrade their motor. Everybody just like they want to be fast. So they like, if you want to be fast, just come like to like, that's what we call Daryl. It's So I'm like, all right, I gotta see like, what he's talking about. So I go over there and like, he chop it up with you, let you know like, the prices. He give you like the whole rundown on your bill, how fast you want to go, everything, your price range, and just everything. So I was letting him know what I wanted to do with my bike, how fast I wanted to go. And from there, we just took off from there. We just had something set. That was a goal. Basically, we had a goal set that we wanted to be the first person to go 100. Because like we said, like I told you back like previously, we heard about the Home Alone, we heard about people going fast, but we really want to go fast. Like, we want to put the mini bike game on a hot rod show. We want to put the mini bike game on a street outlaw, a mini bike outlaw or something like that. So everybody can have their own time to shine. Everybody, it's just really serious to us. Just like Home Alone, it's a sport. It's really serious. Nobody comes out here to play. We come out here to bet money. We come out here just to, be serious. All this, riding around, people, you riding on opposite sides, that's not cool. I actually failed going 100 miles an hour with this exact helmet right here. So I know how I feel to fall going 100 miles an hour. I don't play. When it comes to mini bikes, I don't play because you really can hurt yourself. Without this right here, I probably really, really hurt myself. I failed going 100 miles an hour.
You probably wouldn't be here talking to us, that unfortunately.
No.
But I wonder if the challenges that I heard that we had about finding a home at a track is the wheel size. A 4 or 5 inch wheel was something that all the track promoters started to get a little bit concerned about. So once you start putting in a 6 inch wheel, 8 inch wheel, they really go from what we have, these mini bikes, to like mini motos. My ground wheels are like 12s. It's just not the same thing. But there's got to be a place, and I think I've got it. I mentioned it earlier. It's Tucson Dragway. Now, everybody thinks of fucking Arizona. It's like far away. There's it's hot as hell, but it's a 4.5, 6 hour ride. The track owners are cool. California, I think, look, we can go to Verona and do that deal, or we can go someplace that's like, you can run a quarter mile. You can definitely run eights all day. You can camp. You can party. You can, hang out for like, you get there on a Friday, you leave Sunday. Have breakfast, have a barbecue, have music. Like, I'm seeing all that, and I can't do that here in California. If anybody was going to fucking do that, it would be me. Right. But I'm realizing now that despite the fact that I'd love it to be in SoCal, it's just a wet dream. The only way we're going to realize this, and I think people will come with me. I think I've shown over the years with the event or the podcast or just doing what it is that we're trying to do, which is elevate this hobby and this sport that we all love. I may be doing something. I may do something in Tucson and get all you guys out there, give you a track, give you some notoriety. I know all the media people. It's not like I can't give us some fanfare. And if we can go out there and lay down 100 miles an hour on some small little mini bike, and we could talk to guys like you, young, articulate, bold, got balls, they're not out here with the same old story that we all have, which is trying to be people that we're not. You're doing things that you love. You're not out trying to be some movie star that can't act or rapper that can't fucking rap, you know, or fighter who can't fight. You're just doing what you love. And there needs to be a showcase for us. There needs to be a place for Antonio. There needs to be a place for you. And we're going to do that. It's becoming more and more forced on us than planned. The plan was to keep it SoCal. I wonder if we can, but I'd love to.
That'll be nice. We have our own drag strip.
Oh, imagine. And then not only having that, but the goal would be for all of us to go there and show up, and somebody's going to lay down 100, and they're going to back it up. And it may be you, and it may be some of these guys on the screen today. It may be our upcoming guest. It could be somebody that's listening out there now. I hear a lot of shit because, you know, when I post, hey, we're going to be meeting with the world's fastest jockeys. Well, who are these guys, and how fast do they go, and who says they are? Well, I do. It's fucking my podcast, right? But I know that, and I say that half jest because I know there are guys in Florida that are fast, and I know that there's guys, hell, even locally. I'm sure there are guys in AV are wondering where their spots are because right now it's SoCal focused. We got Fast Lane. Squirrel Gang is another group that I hear a lot about. You've been on this podcast many times. I mentioned a couple of the guys in AV that are also pretty popular, but I know outside of California, there's a ton of guys that want a little spotlight, that want to go fast, that want to hang out with you guys and want to share stories, and they want to compete.
They just got to wait their turn. You know, patience is a virtue.
So when you hear these two young guys talk, a lot of what they said I've heard you talk about before. What do you know about these two guys? What do you know about Antonio? What do you know about Bug?
Well, I mean, like I said before, they you know, they some riders. They got strong hearts. You know what I mean? They not scared to fall and get back up, and they not scared to get next to somebody and jump on a bike. You know, that's, you know, I know them from off the set, off of racing. You know what I mean? I don't know them like deeply like that, but I know them from
casually
off the set. You know, from off the racing set. You know what I mean? Just casually. Knowing it's just seeing them having a good spirit, having a good smile, getting on their bikes and roll. You know what I mean? It's just we need to line up something.
Well, So you still think you got enough to keep these young lions off?
Oh man, I hope they got enough.
So Dylan, let me ask you.
It ain't nothing. But I like this. This is what it's about: smiles and fun and respect and having fun. This is what it's about.
Yeah, man, that's really what it's about.
You know?
Yeah, and I see that. I see that.
We need to be on.
Yeah, I see that.
We need to be on, and we need to get something signed. 1 million of us need to sign something, and let's just take it up to the closest track to us, Urandale, y'all. And hey, man, we might have us one, but hey,
man.
So you like Irwindale, huh?
I like Urandale.
Yeah, Irwindale's the closest.
That's the closest thing to
it. I hear you, and you know, like I tell you, I brought it up. I was actually sitting down there with Doug, who's the PR guy. It was a while ago, and it was just the issue with the size of the wheels. We'll find a spot for you guys. Now, one of the guys who may not be as reserved and as so anxious to talk about the niceties of jockey competitiveness is our next guest.
That was just by luck, but go ahead.
You still so hey, what advice would you give Boog and Antonio based on like what you hear and what you see out there? I mean, they're obviously in the right direction.
They really are. You know, they really are. Just I really can't give too much advice, but keep on sharing what I can share. You know, stay safe. Keep your eyes open. Don't get out there without no helmet. Don't even get onto the sidewalk without no helmet. Be safe. You know, make sure the crowd, you know, calm down before you even think about making a test pass, because we can't lose y'all. You know, just like y'all can't lose me. We need y'all here. Just be safe out there.
Yeah, how nice. Yep, you got the
same thing. Vice versa.
That's what I
Vice
want.
versa
That's what I
out
want to
there.
see.
So in UFC, part of the fun when a guy, gets his head beat in for 3 rounds.
But it's just a lot of knuckleheads. I'm not trying to say I'm somebody. It's just I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. I got a lot of broken bones. I got a lot of metal in me. So if I see somebody out there with helmets, and I can see an accident waiting to happen, I'm gonna go and say something. But they can
It
be
scares me to
assholes
see him watch
and
it.
just, I ain't talking about them. I ain't talking about
Sure.
Boogie. I ain't talking about I'm just talking about in general. They go, oh, I'm good. I got it. I'm good. I'm got it. They turn the corner and bow.
Exactly.
It's just,
Yep.
it happens. I just want to see.
And that's not the point. We're not trying to be nobody's
But
dads out
I'm
there or
ready to
nothing.
race. I'm ready to race.
Nobody trying to
I
be
just wanna
nobody's
race
dad out
safe.
there.
That's all I want to do.
No, go ahead, Boog.
Nobody's trying to be nobody's dad out there. Just like he been out there longer than I have. I've seen the worst of the worst scenarios happen out there. Like really, you feel people on the opposite side of on opposite side riding. People not paying attention riding. People going too fast riding. People just stopping in front of other people, and people just not paying attention. And all these things causes from people. They just doing too much. They're moving too fast. They're moving off instinct. They're not just moving off just, okay, we're just gonna ride to ride. They're just moving. Okay, everybody riding. Everybody just going back and forth. We're moving. No, that's not. Everybody has to go in that. Everybody has to be in their own lane. Everybody has to go up. Everybody go down. Everybody comes up.
Yeah.
Not
What you're
everybody
talking
go
about,
up and down at the same time. No.
yeah,
I brought
Boog, what you're
that up.
talking
No.
about is a structured, organized racing format, which is the only way these things have a
Sometimes
chance.
it's hard to gain structure.
Yes.
I'll be out there too, man. Like calming these people down.
It could be adults as us, but it could be our elders that's still out there who won't listen, who won't even help us just get a little structure going.
Yeah, it seems like it.
If it's an actual race going on, like recently, if it's an actual race going on, I know it's a lot of new faces out there, but don't nobody need to be in the middle of the street. Don't nobody need to be in the middle of the street. Get on the damn sidewalk because anything
Yes,
can
sir.
happen at any time.
So you guys see this.
Go the right way. Go the right
All the
way
time.
you're
All the
supposed to go,
time,
come down
man.
The right way you're supposed to come down.
So who, like when I show up at my show, if somebody's got a question about, I don't know, parking or judging or where the fuck the T-shirts are, they come to me. Like usually there's somebody that you go to if there's an organized event. When we're racing down there, is there a guy? Is there like who's the guy that like sizes everybody up and who's the ringleader? A little Fast Lane love, Team Fast Lane, 1320 mini bike. Check them out. Got a lot of cool. I like the logo. What do you got there, Antonio? He's wearing it as well. Fast Lane Racing. You hear a lot about those guys. What's the difference between the Fast Lane guy racers and the Squirrel Gang racers?
What's the difference?
Yes.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I'm not gonna say like we're trying to be too cocky or nothing
No,
like
I'm just
that.
asking innocently. Really, just what do you know
it
about
just-
those guys?
Everybody ride. I personally knew a lot of people from Squirrel Game before I actually joined Fastlane. Everybody, like I said, everybody has a respect thing for each other. Everybody has a sense of humor for each other. Everybody's really just like a big family. But when racing come in, like when you about to add the next person on here, he's gonna get to talking, and he's gonna just get to talking. It's just racing. Everybody just get to talking smack, and it's just like we really just be like, when you want to race? You're not gonna answer the question. When you want to race, and just be like, you can talk about racing. Are you really gonna race though?
When I was bringing up the UFC part, I didn't get a chance to finish, but my point is that at the end of the fights, after you've battled it out, you usually have a chance to call somebody out. Anybody on your list, Antonio, that you want to saddle up against?
Set up against.
Yeah, who'd you like to race? Anybody that you'd like to call out or anybody that you'd like to race against?
I would love to race the ones that really want to race me.
Is there anybody out there that's been calling you out that you're aware of?
Everybody's been calling me out. Everybody.
Who's the one that you'd like to put in their place?
Damn, I don't want to be too. I keep that shit to myself, but
No problem.
I don't know.
Maybe there's somebody that you think would be a good competitive race people would like to see. It doesn't have to be disrespectful. It just has to be somebody that you may have an interest in, right?
Well,
How about you?
look. Yeah, it's just like if I say something, it's a whole problem,
Then don't do it. Don't do it. I wonder about Boog. Boog, is there
You
anybody
know,
that you'd like to
because
race?
look, you gonna see me on YouTube dragging some shit. That's
So,
all I gotta say.
so where can folks
And
see the YouTube stuff then?
let, go to Fastlane Mini Bikes or go to Day Day Live.
Okay, Fastlane Mini Bikes are Day Live, and
Yeah.
we'll get
I don't
the.
want to call nobody out, but I just keep that to myself
I hear
because
you.
I gotta handle my business.
Yeah, good for you.
No.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that too. How about you, Boog? Is there anybody that you'd like to race anytime soon? Is there anybody?
Yeah. Home Alone. Yeah, we gotta set something up, bro. It's just like it just keep it just like it's the top of the food chain, man. It's only gonna get smaller, so we gotta make something happen.
What do you think, Home Alone? Maybe.
Yeah, we can get it cracking. We can get it rolling, rocking and rolling.
Well, there you have it, folks. So it's as
Sir,
easy
I
as that.
like that
We
answer.
rocking and rolling, you know what I mean?
So Mike's over here smiling. See, Mike knows something. Mike knows you got a little something in
Mike,
the back.
no,
Just-
that's
just
good,
know
yeah.
people out there watching. I like that.
All right, so
Come on.
so here's what we know. Here's what we know. Dylan would like to run up against you. You guys figure out how, when, and where. But I'd love to see that. In fact, I'll make a point to come out there.
No problem.
And guys, look. At some point, wouldn't it be really cool if we're all in the stands, all together, having a cold beer, doing whatever else we do, watching these guys race, have a little bike show, have a little barbecue, have a little camping, come back, do it again. And then if your bike blows up and it's on the trailer, dude, you get over there and you help his bike.
No problem.
You know, we just want to get to 100. We want to put a couple bikes on a timer going 100 miles an hour. 50 of us can go out there, have a good time, but if one or two of us do it, and then we'll just build from there.
Yeah.
Along the way, we're going to build some competition. Along the way, we're going to make some friends. We may make an enemy or two, but
No doubt.
I think if we could find
Yes,
a
sir.
stage. Hey, Antonio, it was nice that we were able to get both of you guys together at once. That was actually very nice. Good to meet you both. I hope I meet you guys in person. I'll make a point to get down there to Anna Street to say hi to you guys personally. But thanks for being on the podcast. Any shout outs that you guys want to give before you take off?
Shit. I want to give a shout out to BDMS, Big Daddy Motorsports, Fastlane Performance, Fastlane period, the whole Fastlane branch. Get a good shout out to Joe just for having us on here. Home Alone, we'll see you when we see you, and that's it. Everybody have a good one. Fastlane out.
Did a great job, Dylan. Thank you. How about you?
It was
Antonio?
nice. It was nice meeting you, Joe. I hope I can see you again one day.
You will,
And,
brother. We'll see each other soon.
Shout out to Daryl, Big Daddy Motorsports, the one guy that made me fast as hell. And shout out to Nine. Shout out to Cleve. Shout out to the whole movement of Fastlane, what we got going on here. And we got a lot of work to do, man. I'll see you guys soon. And shout out to Home Alone too. That's my boy right there too. I shout, Mike. We in the shop. I got love for all East Side racing. Everybody.
Thank
I got
Antonio.
love for everybody.
Thank you, Dylan.
I
Thank
don't-
you guys. Thank you, folks over
I
at
love-
Fastlane
No
Racing.
problem.
I tell
Yeah,
you
be
what,
safe.
man, from an old guy, it makes my heart warm knowing we got young guys out there right now. And we're gonna jump on to our final guest for the show before we wrap it up. D Red was. I know D Red's going to be fun because I was watching him during the little pre-podcast tune-up. But we're looking forward to him.
I know
Look at him.
him.
Hey, D Red, nice to meet you officially. How are you, brother?
What's up, big dog?
Good to see you, man. His volume is high as shit.
That's him.
I think he's high as shit.
That's him.
Hey,
That's him.
Hey,
That's
D Red.
just him.
So
What's up, bro?
you've been listening to the podcast. You've been pretty patient. Thank you for that, brother. I didn't realize we were going to run that long. My bill with the manual is going to go up to $2.
Crazy.
Hey, you're just chilling on the couch, wearing the belt, huh? How's it feel to be the champ?
Oh, it feels real good because these little guys up here don't, Yeah.
So there you
It's
are.
good.
You're there with the Run What You Brung small block belt. Tell us a little bit about that race. How fast did you go? What were the numbers on that win?
Oh, well, I can't. I don't really want to explain how fast I was really going because
Can you give us a little bit of an idea?
you don't want to race me no more if I tell you how fast I'm really going out here. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So you're not going to give up any secrets.
I
D-Red, tell us
can't give up
how
no secrets.
did you get into mini bikes? That's always an interesting question that I have. I'm curious about it. Tell us about when you first started off.
Home Alone, just like we ain't got time.
It's like a little hobby. I ain't gonna lie. I like to see the little things go by. I was always like a trickster on the bike. Like I didn't always start off racing. I start off like doing tricks on them, like doing wheelies and stuff like that.
What was your first bike, D-Red?
My first bike was a Joe's.
Joe's mini bike. You know, a lot of guys get me confused with him, but I got to meet him. But you know, I remember him back in the day because it was been a minute. Shit, there was a Penny Saver and back
Joe's and Morgan.
Yeah, then it was always Joe's popping up.
Joe's and Morgan,
Joe's
yeah.
and Morgan.
And what kind of engine did you use? Whatever was around.
I had a CMT back in the day. Yeah, it was a CMT.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to call those a ding dongs or something like that.
Yeah, and so what was the deal, man? Just going as fast as you could until it broke, and then just fix it and keep riding it and fix it.
I was doing like wheelies. I was the coldest guy out there doing wheelies, no hands. I was out there doing it, putting my feet up in the air. I was doing all that.
Was it just you, or do you have a group of your friends that were also into the mini bikes?
Yeah, we was like, I can say like 30 thick. I can call them my squirrels. We was out there. We wasn't really going to like the mini bike races like that. We was really riding in the street. So I was at like 30 bikes out there going crazy.
Who was riding with you at the time? Do you remember some of the guys that you were riding with?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, they still around. They still Squirrel Gang. First off, it was Kyle, my boy Jeremy, and my little brothers. It was Nick, Nova Nick, Ryan. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of us. Jose, player. Happy. It's a lot of us. It's a lot of us. I can keep going.
Hey, D-Ray, so when did you hear about, for the first time, Home Alone? How long do you guys go back?
Oh, we go far, way back. Like even before the mini bike scene, like we used to just like chill, to be honest.
Nice. Yeah, he's a one chill guy, but was it just that and then mini bikes, or was it mini bikes and chilling at the same time?
It was mini bikes and chilling at the same time. He used to come to my job sometime, and we used to just kick it at my job. I'm a armed security guard, so he used to come to my job and just chill with me.
Nice. And did he already have his reputation at that time, or was he just starting
Yeah, he already had his reputation, yeah.
And what was it, D-Red? What was his reputation?
Going fast on Annis.
Anything else?
How I knew him is from when he beat that motorcycle. Ever since then, we've been cool.
About that. Out here staying strong for y'all, you know? You know, we out here staying strong for y'all.
Yeah, we got the same name. You can basically say.
So, Vern, you would roll up with D-Red when he's working armed security, doing what? Just catch a little buzz, catching up on things?
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Right there.
Yep. Yeah. Meanwhile, they were robbing the place.
Cold.
So, D-Red,
cool, man. Cool, chill, laid back, you know.
So I noticed you two were having a good time before the podcast started, just giving each other shit. You guys seem to have a little bit of a connection. Now I'm kind of sensing it. You guys go back a while.
Yeah. And you know, it's a small world. It's a small world. That's what I can say. I didn't know he know this person. He didn't know I know he. It's just a small world. You know what I mean? And
so I asked him about what he knew about you. What can you tell us about him? He's speechless. Come on,
I'm speechless because I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to get that.
He looks like Marvin. He looks like a young Marvin Hagler with his belt down there. You got to give us something about him.
No, I know about him.
Antonio.
Same thing, you know, the racing set. You know,
I'm
little
answering
bit from
for him
off
right
the racing
now.
set. You know, from off the little streets. You know what I mean? From him taking care of his business, being a strong man.
Yep.
You know. It's a lot, you know. I can't tell everybody what's going on.
No, I'm just trying to get just a little bit. So, are you a better jockey than he is, or does he have a little edge on you?
Am I a better jockey than him? Come on, what kind of question?
Well, you know, I'm trying to get a sense of he's wearing.
He older than me, so he know a little some, but I'm right there.
I would put up at least about 5,000 to 3,000 or something. You know, head up for the belt too, and whatever, you know, I would like to put up.
Now he's in the small block class. Would you race some small block?
Small block.
Yeah, we can do the small block class. You know, I'm 8,000 up in the mini bike game right now.
About eight grand
I'm
up?
just keeping it real. I'm up 8,000. the
Hey,
belt. I
hey.
run. I got the lock on Anna's right
No
now. You hear me?
problemo. As long as we can do this, brother. As
We
long as we
can.
can
Hey,
do this.
look. We ain't gonna never do it. Cause why? I
That's
retired,
jockey to
buddy. I
jockey,
retired fast.
bite to
You
bite.
can't beat somebody that's retired,
He- He's
buddy.
he's too young to be retired, Home Alone. I think you've got
Oh,
just what it
nah.
takes to get him out
They
of
call me
retirement.
Coach
No, he
Red
ain't
outside
retired.
on Anna's
He ain't
now.
retired at all.
No, all
You
joking
know?
aside, hey, look, imagine though, imagine if we did have a track. Imagine if you were able to roll out and you knew we were just going to chill for a few days, and there'd be a time where you guys can line up against each other. But meanwhile, we get to hang out and have a good time.
Oh yeah, man.
What's
I'm
the
ready.
scene like from your view? Is everybody still having a good time there now? I know everybody's competitive, but everybody's having a good time. Nobody acting the fool down there. What's going on?
Nah, every time we out there, we
little bit of both.
it's like a movie. I'm gonna be honest with you. We all having fun. Everybody side betting, or if it's not side betting, it's like a race going on. If ain't no race going on, we just chilling. A race don't even have to crack for us just to come down there and chill.
You've been making some money
We see
from
a
some
couple
of
of
those guys.
fast bikes do some test passes.
Are you been making some money for some of those guys that've been betting you on the side bets?
I've
Been
been
doing
winning
okay?
a lot of dollars, man.
So
Been
what
winning
then
a
happens
lot
now?
of
So now
dollars.
you race the bike, you make some money. Do you dump money back in the bike now? What do you have do you have your own little system once you
A
win? And
routine.
what do? You bring it back to the shop and dress it up. Where are you getting your parts? Who's doing the work on your engines?
Okay. My assembler is BDMS.
Okay, great. So
He keep it tuned
you're
up for
you're
me.
with the king. Good. And where are you buying your parts? Small engine cams a lot.
Yeah, I'll go down
Whiskey?
there, pick my stuff up from Tim. Yeah,
Nice.
get my stuff from Tim. Go down there, get a couple stuff, and then go to Unc. He'll put it together for me.
A lot of guys are using GTS frames. What's your frame of choice?
I got a GT's frame, a
Okay.
5 inch. I prefer a 5 inch frame.
Why is that?
Some small. I don't like them long ones. To be honest, with me with a long bike, I get like speed wobbles. I get a smaller bike. It I can control it more.
What do you say about that, Home Alone?
What's that?
With a shorter bike
well-
versus a longer bike? Being able to control it with a shorter frame bike?
Well, I mean, everybody's different.
What has your experience been?
My experience is I don't like short bikes.
You don't like short, but how come?
No, because it'll wobble quick. It'll get into a high speed wobble quick. I like a medium size, kind of stretched a little bit, with a little bit of rake front end, and it just less wobbles.
So,
It'll less
what
wobble.
about frame choice? You have a preference? You a GTS guy as well?
Some of them, it depends on some of them. I love California Bobs.
Oh, California
you know,
Bob.
California Bob.
Who's that? I'm not
know.
familiar with California Bob.
That is made by.
Who's that, Mike?
Who is it made by? Mike. Yeah,
Oh, my boy
California Bob.
Mike there too.
Yeah, Fast Bike. He's out here. Yep.
What's up, Unc? I heard you wanted a race.
Right. So I'm sorry about that, fella. But yeah, he makes his own frames. I like California Bob.
Yeah, shout out California Bobs.
And
I guess
they're
I'm
comfortable,
okay.
So look, it
And
varies then,
GTs,
right?
and
It
GTs,
varies.
like I said, GTs, they know how to. You make a frame for them. You tell me what kind of frame you want and what size and this and that. To me, all his frames came out comfortable.
Yeah,
You know,
Rafa
shout
does a
out-
great job.
Yeah, shout out to GT.
Shout out to
Another,
Ralph.
Another Hall of Famer as
Yeah.
well. It also a big help to me when I was asking about some of the hot jockeys out there. Hey, D-Red, thanks for taking the time and hanging in there with us. I wonder, before we let you go,
Oh, we're going to get that race.
I know that you're half joking about being retired, and I know that you'd like to go up against maybe Home Alone or some of the other guys out there. Who are some of the other jockeys out there that need a little bit of attention in your view? Who are some of the competitors that you see lurking out there that need to be recognized? Anybody stick out? Any jockeys out there that you think got a lot going on?
Not right now. I'm gonna be honest. You got them all right here. To be honest with you,
Is there
these are
anybody else?
only
What
guys
do you say
that's
about the
right now
guys
that's
out in
doing
AV?
right here.
Anybody out in the AV getting your attention?
The AV is not doing anything. They
What do you
ain't been winning no big dollar races. You got the most guys that's right here that's been winning top money. You feel me? We've been winning like thousands. You know what I'm saying? The AV ain't winning no type of big money, none. I'm gonna
Okay.
be honest with you.
All right, so let's take it then from a SoCal thing. when I posted that I was having on some of the world's fastest jockeys, you guys are local. California's where it's happening anyways. But I got a little static from some of the guys, particularly in Florida. Got some comments from some of the guys in Michigan. What do you hear, or what do you know about some of these other states? Are there any states out there that are worth paying attention to? Is there anybody outside of California?
All I can say is they can come to Compton and come get spanked. You hear me? We got a gang of bikes that's ready to race anybody from out of state, anybody. They can come get some. You hear me? Run what you run. Compton ready for you. You hear me? You hear me? That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, man. D-Red, thank you for not only the opportunity to join us, but to spend some time with us. I know you probably had a few other things that you could have been doing tonight, so we're glad you spent a portion of it with us. I look forward to meeting you as well. I'll hook up with all you guys as well as all the guys that were on the podcast tonight. Make sure we get them out. I also have some of these autographed Joe's Mini Bike Reunion decals that were signed by who could be the greatest of all time in terms of a mini bike jockey out there. Obviously, you met 3 other guys that can probably feel the same. They were there for you. You heard them directly. You heard what makes them tick. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
I just, everybody know me. Shout out everybody that rocks with me. I rocks with y'all, goddamn.
Couldn't end it any better. Folks, D-Red, our last guest on the podcast tonight. Thank you for being a part of it, D-Red. We'll check with you next time, brother.
All right, boss.
All right. Well, we're running a little bit late, everybody, but it was worth it. I had a great time being back in the studio. I had a chance to not only catch up with Home Alone, and everybody else had that chance as well, but we had a chance to talk to Antonio, talk to Boog, Dylan. Both of those guys were great. They're both with Fastlane. And a guy that we could probably do a whole show around, D-Red. I like that guy's spirit. I like his style. I love the fact that you guys go back. And it would be kind of cool to see you. So with all that said, you heard some of the young guns tonight. You had a chance to get a little bit of a sense. You're handing off the baton to a pretty good group of guys. I think, but there's still some racing in you, right?
Oh yeah, always. Oh yeah, the baton is gonna come back my way very slowly.
Sure, it's a 360 rotation. Home Alone, before we let you go, anybody that you want to give a shout out to?
I would like to give a shout out to everybody who's on the racing scene, who's out here really being safe. Sorry, Big Bird couldn't be here with us today, but shout out to Big Bird. Yep. I love you. Shout out to Big Mike. I love you, big homie. And I just, we're just gonna keep this racing scene going. Everybody be safe. And like I said, shout out to everybody.
There you have it, folks. Home Alone, the greatest of all time. Ask around. We've had a few other folks that were on the podcast tonight. I had a good time. I want to thank our sponsors from Pioneer, as well as our friends from Studs Racing.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Big Rick, although he couldn't be here today. Hope you're watching, Big Rick.
I remember Big Rick. Big Rick, he was a popular guy when he fired up his bike at one of the early Joe's Mini Bike reunions. When he fired up that bike, that show took on a whole different tone. So thank you for that, Big Rick.
Big Rick, Eastside Racing.
All right, a big shout out to everybody who listened tonight. We're going to look at some of the comments that came through, and we're going to select 3 folks. We're going to send these decals out. I just got word from Pioneer that we're going to be giving away some Pioneer car audio in our future podcast. We're back in studio. We ran a little bit long. A big thanks to Emmanuel and everybody here at D1 Productions. Hey, I'm Joe Sebergandio. I'll post when he's got the next free date for our next upcoming podcast. We're going to try to get these going a little bit more often. We wanted to come and check out the digs. I'm comfortable here. You like it here,
Vern? Man, I'm very comfortable.
We got a little area out in the lounge there. We got the cute little restroom. The celebrities walking up and down the street here. So
it's very comfortable.
We ran a little bit late, and I know it's late on the East Coast. Don't forget, if anybody's wondering where they can view this, we may have lost you because you're sleeping. Check it out on YouTube, Joe's Mini Bike Reunion YouTube page, or check it out on Joe's Mini Bike Reunion Facebook page. And we're also transitioning, and I believe we're trying to run this through Instagram Live as well. So thanks for listening. Thanks for putting up with the length. It's our first time back in the studio. Couldn't be any happier. I'm Joe from Joe's Mini Bike Reunion, and you're not. We'll see you the next time, folks.
show.